was once a place in time when the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers were the gold standard of the National Football League.
Eras where winning wasn't expected, it was demanded.
You'll be proud of this game, and you can do a great deal for football today.
We're champions right now. We got one more to go.
Naturally, over time, a rivalry developed where one game in January still defines legacies to this day.
Throws to the end zone.
Oh, and there's been some real beauties.
They can start their celebration now.
But that was then. And now a new generation of green and red are here to plant their flag in the soil.
Ready to put everything on the line for a chance to play for the ultimate prize. And with all due respect to those who came prior, it's their time now.
Welcome to the NFC Championship.
It's the Packers and the 49ers right now on Fox.
Aaron Rodgers grew up in Northern California idolizing the 49ers. Today, they're the enemy as the Packers quarterback looks to add to his legacy by returning to the Super Bowl for the first time in nearly a decade. That's if he can pull off the upset over this version of the Niners. Led by Jimmy Garoppolo, San Francisco has been the best team in the NFC all season long, and now the Niners QB plays in the biggest contest of his career. It all comes down to this one game. The top two teams in the conference, two of the most iconic franchises in all of sports, the Green Bay Packers take on the San Francisco 49ers. Only one team will advance to Super Bowl 54. We are live and on location in what is expected to be the biggest crowd ever to see a football game in this stadium as we welcome you to the one and only Built Ford Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show brought to you by the Ford F-Series, the official truck of the National Football League. Come on outside and stay a while, folks. I'm Kurt Menefee. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to Charlie Hunnam and Matthew McConaughey. You can see their new movie, The Gentleman. It opens in theaters everywhere this Friday. But right now, let me be the first to say for the first time ever on this show, welcome our Hall of Fame panel, Terry, Howie, Michael, and the newest inductee, Jimmy Johnson.
The man.
Everywhere I've been this week, all people want to say is how joyous it was for them to watch you last week.
Hey, it was crazy. I even tried to jog, back in the Keys, and people would stop on the street. They were going by, honking their horn, waving. Congratulations, Coach. I mean, it's fantastic.
You're such a people person.
It was a big moment for us to watch last week. It was big for you because you won a couple Super Bowls. The winner of this game gets to at least have a chance at going to the Super Bowl and getting a chance to win it, I should say. They do go to the Super Bowl. But I know for you, you think it's just as tough for the team that does not win today.
Yeah, Kurt, every coach and every player in the NFL, they dream of going to the Super Bowl and experiencing everything that goes with it. So that's why I think losing this game is devastating, more so than even losing the Super Bowl, because that eliminates that dream.
One thing we do know is these two teams have played one another not that long ago, week 12, in fact. That was a game in which the Packers got dominated by San Francisco.
Wide open, George Mostert breaks tackles all the way into the end zone. Down goes Rodgers.
This is the game that both teams need to forget. And if you're a 49er fan, you say, why should we forget it? Because if you're a 49ers player, you don't come into this game thinking the same thing's going to happen this time around. The Packers are a good team. They've been playing better since then. And if you're a Packer, you need to forget it and think, hey, this is a totally new experience. Act like it's never happened, because you can't afford to have one bad thing go wrong and say, oh, here we go again. Forget the past for both of these teams and treat today as the one and only game that it is for you to advance to the Super Bowl.
The four teams remaining now, looks like Kansas City's on their way to Super Bowl 54 as if all four teams go into the championship game with momentum. There's anybody can win these football games. You go back to week 12, Green Bay got hammered by 29 points, all right? Green Bay has since won 6 games in a row, and when you talk to them, all they talk about is confidence. We're on a roll. We have the momentum on our side. Unfortunately, most NFC Championship games in the last 6 years have been won by the home team.
The interesting part is Green Bay and and San Francisco both come into this game with identical records, 14-3. But the perception of the two teams is very different, in great part due to the beatdown here week 12 at Levi Stadium. The great news for Green Bay is, if you're looking for the optimistic view on Green Bay, is this. Unlike basketball, baseball, and hockey, you don't have to win best of 5, best of 7. You just have to be great once, today, to punch your ticket to the Super Bowl. Put your quarterback in position to have success at the end of the game, and maybe you get there.
Believe me, I know about being great just once, because
all you need is
we couldn't have done what we did again.
All you need is once. One of the things I love about this, it epitomizes the NFL. Neither one of these teams were even in the playoffs last year. The winner today goes on to the Super Bowl. We've got more.
Lots more coming up. We'll reflect on the legacy of the man whose name represents the NFC Championship trophy. And we'll hear from first-year head coach Matt LaFleur just moments before he leads the Packers on the field. Plus, on the cusp of leading the 49ers to their 7th Super Bowl, Aaron Andrews sits down with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's all ahead on the Ford Fox NFL Sunday pregame show.
These were the people that built this league. Hey, now check this out. What's that, fellas?
Hey, who's the old guy with Rick Coleman?
Now, the Pro Football Hall of Fame is home to the Ford Hall of Fans. It's time to cast your vote and help select the fan who will be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2020. Vote now for your favorite nominee at FordHallOfFans.com/football. Plus, enter for your chance to win a trip to Super Bowl 54. The Built Ford Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show is sponsored by Ford F-Series, the official truck of the NFL.
George Halas was known by many names. Owner, coach, Papa Bear. He was fear, love, and obsession wrapped in a winter coat. The man who gave this league an identity when it needed it most.
Hey, quiet back there. Boys, nothing is work unless you'd rather be doing something else.
His own. That's why his name is etched on the NFC Championship trophy. A reminder of the NFL's past for those building its future.
And there is the George S. Halas Trophy. Will go to the winner of tonight's game as champions of the NFC, earning them a trip to the Super Bowl. And by the way, not only was Papa Bear a co-founder of the NFL, but he was also an American hero off the field, serving in the Navy, both during World War I and World War II. Well, of course, the Bears' arch rivals, the Green Bay Packers, are about to take on the 49ers, and their two head coaches have ties that date back almost a decade, starting in Washington.
Back in 2010, Mike Shanahan put together an offensive brain trust. It included his son as offensive coordinator, quarterback coach Matt LaFleur, not to mention a young assistant named Sean McVay. The younger Shanahan would bring LaFleur with him to Atlanta, where they took the Falcons to a Super Bowl. And then in 2017, they would both move on. Kyle to the 49ers with John Lynch and LaFleur joining McVay in Los Angeles. Now, 2 years later, Kyle and Matt, who were cut from the same cloth, face off in the NFC Championship game.
And it truly is a family affair as one of Kyle Shanahan's assistant coaches. Mike LaFleur is also the 49ers passing game coordinator and the younger brother of Packers head coach Matt. What an awkward week it must have been for that family, huh? Jay Glazer is getting ready for the game presented by Geico. Jay?
All right, thanks, Kurt. And Matt, this has already been an oh my God, how did I get here type of season for you. But the fact that Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh, you were best man at his wedding, and your brother's on the other sideline, how much more surreal does today make it for you?
Oh, it's always fun going against your buddies, and you know, certainly we're not buddies today, but after the game we'll have a chance to reflect on this and just think about the moment, and it's going to be fun for one of us.
For one of you, but your brother, you guys FaceTime a lot. You FaceTime this week, maybe hopefully that you saw something up on the whiteboard behind him, a little game plan?
Yeah, there was a few FaceTimes, but not as much as usual, and to be honest with you, we just kept it about family, and there was no football talk whatsoever.
All right, well, you and I talked football about this game, and you said the last time you faced them, you got beaten pretty much every area, but it was a tipping point for you guys because you haven't lost since. But you also said you needed to go this week and figure out what other teams did well against the 49ers to implement in today's game. What did you find out that you could use today so the outcome's different?
Well, it was a pretty humbling experience for us last time we were here, that's for sure. But, you know, this is a great defense, and it's a great football team, all three phases. So, you know, you certainly look at the film, and there were teams that had a little bit of success against these guys, looking at some of the stuff that the Rams did. And but it's going to be a great challenge for us, and we know that it's going to be important for us to control the line of scrimmage today in order for us to have success.
All right, appreciate it, Coach. Get back to your team, man. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you.
The big thing that I think Green Bay has to do that they didn't do in Week 12 is survive the initial wave of emotion that comes with this kind of a game. And then they've got to throw out the game plan. He talked about picking and choosing from some of the things that maybe frustrated San Francisco earlier in the year. They have to respect the run game. If they don't, they're in trouble with that front four. Play action pass can help that offensive line. 6-7 in protection with late leakers coming out. Move the pocket, screens, empty the bucket. Give your quarterback an opportunity at the end of the game to win this thing. That's what he wants. That's what they have to do to win.
Well, Howie, the people have said that all you got to do in this game is protect Aaron Rodgers, and the way you do that, he's got to get rid of the ball quickly. Well, that sounds great, and that's wonderful, but here's the routes you can run to get rid of the ball quickly. Quick out, 5 yards. Quick in, 5 yards. A fade or a takeoff against bump and run. If bump and run, the corner gets off, then a hitch. That is it to get rid of the ball quickly. Moving Aaron out of the pocket's fine. Running game to Aaron Jones, to me, that is critical today. Don't stay with the short stuff all day long. You lose this football game. You got to go deep.
They need explosive plays, and Devontae Adams has to play well today. He has carried that wide receiving core for the later part of the season since he's been a little bit healthier. And at home, he averages 134 yards a game, receiving. On the road, only 36 yards a game. You cannot have that against this 49ers defense. He has to play well against Richard Sherman. They need explosive plays out of him. You need to get Jimmy Graham involved as well as having that run, having Aaron Jones have a big day in the backfield.
Yeah, for Green Bay, playing on the road against a team that's got the edge, you've got to play complementary football. In all three phases, you have to have momentum changers. If you can't let San Francisco just grind it out against you. So offensively, you got to be ready to go for it on fourth down. In the kicking game, you got to have a fake punch. You might have an onside kick. Defensively, there are times you're going to have to blitz and try to force a turnover. You've got to have momentum changers, if you're going to be playing against the 49ers, a team that's got the edge.
All right, as we sit here on the field, you can feel the temperature starts to drop, but the energy is beginning to ramp up. The buzz is beginning by the Bay as the crowd is getting ready, and they're telling us enough about the Packers. Time to talk about the Niners. When we come back, we'll do just that, including the favorite to win Defensive Rookie of the Year in the NFC, Nick Bosa, along with the emerging superstar who has the most receiving yards by tight end in his first 3 NFL seasons, George Kittle, and our own Aaron Andrews will chat with Jimmy Garoppolo. We're only about 15 minutes to kickoff of the NFC Championship.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Verizon. Verizon's building the most powerful 5G experience for America.
One of the cool things about being here in Santa Clara, we had a chance as a unit to visit the 49er Museum yesterday.
Yeah, that was so much fun. I couldn't wait to see John Brody's statue because, honestly, I had his picture on my wall. I thought he was just the greatest quarterback. I played at Kezar Stadium. I played at Candlestick, and now we're at Levi. But what a great day that was for us to go through that wonderful, wonderful place.
They do a great job of connecting the past with the present. Jerry Rice, a big part of the NFL's past, all-time leading receiver in the league's history, of course, the Hall of Famer. He is here as other 49er legends are as well. There's Charles Haley, played for Jimmy Johnson, now in the Hall of Fame as well, came over to Dallas from San Francisco. And, of course, John Lynch, now the general manager of the 49ers, helped put this team together that got into the NFC Championship game. Of course, he's a finalist for the Hall of Fame this year. We wish him luck. He deserves to go in there as well. Hey, while we're talking about 49er history, the only San Francisco quarterbacks to finish the season with a QB rating above 100 are Joe Montana, Steve Young, and then this season, Jimmy Garoppolo, who's about to play the biggest game of his career. Hey, look who's joining us right now. She had a chance to talk to Jimmy G.
Our set looks a lot better right now.
Hey, congrats to you, by the way. Love you so much. Couple observations and not on this game.
Okay.
The notes over here by the Hall of Famer. Hall of Famer over here.
I got a
just
few.
texting.
texting.
What's happening? What is happening? Thanks for having me, y'all. Appreciate it. Well, Jimmy Garoppolo was a second-round draft pick by the New England Patriots in 2014, and he was supposed to be the heir apparent to Tom Brady. 6 years later, he finds himself on a new team and a new city. So now the 49er faithful are one win away from a Super Bowl, and Jimmy G is feeling great about that, baby.
The San Francisco 49ers trading for quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo.
The AFC favorite, Garoppolo. That would be the biggest gut punch of all if Jimmy Garoppolo took him to a Super Bowl.
2 years since that trade, you're now one win away from the Super Bowl. Hello. Not bad at all. Worth the wait?
Yeah, definitely worth the wait. I always tell myself things have a way of working out. I'm really happy the way things worked out, and we still got ways to go here.
There's a ton of passion in this city, in San Francisco, and there should be. I mean, the history we know about the Super Bowls.
It's the greatest feeling in the world.
How hard is that for you to maybe separate and just be like, okay, this is, mine now. I have to figure out how to navigate this thing.
A big part of it is you just have to be yourself. You can't, and I learned this from, being in New England too. They want you to be the next quarterback in line and, follow suit and everything, but you have to be yourself at the end of the day. I think that's what people respect the most.
I feel like this city, they are all in on the Jimmy G vibe here, right? I mean, how does that feel? It feels great, right?
Feels great, baby.
Yeah, it does. There we go.
Feels great, baby. Feels great.
You've seen the Packers, Week 12. They want to erase that memory.
Down goes Rodgers. They absolutely dominated.
Such a lopsided victory with the whole thing. So how much can you really take from that game?
I think there's plenty that you can take from it. Whenever you play a team the second time, whatever it is, it's always a little different. So, I don't know, you have to play the play. We say it a lot in the quarterback room, but that's what it really comes down to.
Gonna throw a deep shot. Wide open, George Kittle.
How good does that feel? Feels great, baby.
The 49ers are a team that, you don't have to throw the ball for 300 yards a game. You guys last week carried it, over 40 times?
Yeah.
What do you think the Packers are saying about how to beat San Francisco?
Yeah, I think stop the run, make them throw type of thing. But
And you're smiling.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So what do you think about that?
Well, teams have done it in the past, and so, kind of pick your poison type of thing. And so we'll see how it plays out Sunday, but, yeah, I mean, it's kind of what we'd expect.
You're human. It's human nature. You're one win away from potentially going to a Super Bowl. Have you allowed yourself to go there and maybe just dream a little bit?
There really isn't much time. I mean, honestly, just with the crazy week and everything, you're always preparing, trying to do more and everything. I think in the back of my mind, it's there, but you can't really think about it too much. At the end of the day, you got to go out there and play football.
One thing we would do as players and coaches, if we didn't learn from our mistakes, we would never get better. In his third year now as head coach, Kyle Shanahan can only look back to Super Bowl 51 when the Atlanta Falcons, he then the offensive coordinator of Atlanta, had driven down to the 22-yard line of New England, whereupon he did not attempt one run. Pass. Then they had the punt away. New England won that football game. Not anymore. He learned his lesson. Learn how to run the football, and Garoppolo benefits from the mistake the young coach Shanahan made.
Yeah, Yeah, and running the ball has been the savior. He definitely has learned, because now you have the three-headed monster of Mostert, Coleman, and Breida. And each guy has over 600 yards rushing. They distribute the ball between them, whoever has the hottest hand. And it's one of the few teams in the league that runs the ball over 50% of the time. Also using their running backs and tight ends as some of the highest percentages of yards in the passing game. So they are a good outlet for him on the short routes, just getting the ball out of his hands, building confidence. And as you said earlier, TB, you got to know how your quarterback is feeling going into the game. If you don't feel like he's settled down yet, run the ball. They have 3 guys they can give it to today who've all proven that they can carry the load.
You know, you talk about the talent on this team and on both sides of the ball, and there's plenty of it. Reminds me a lot of your Dallas team. But the thing I think that defines this team, particularly on offense, is that it's a selfless group. And no greater example than last week. Jimmy Garoppolo throws a pick in the second quarter. He throws the ball 6 times after that in the rest of the football game. That's your $100 million quarterback. You talk about the 3 running backs. Each week, a different one's feature. They're all happy because they're winning. George Kittle, maybe their best player on offense, put on one of the best blocking displays of the tight end position that I've seen, and I don't know how long, in running the ball 47 times and sacrificing his numbers. It's not about me. It's not about the numbers. It's about winning.
How you look at this 49er defense, they gave up the fewest big plays of anybody in the league. Number 1 pass defense in the league. They set back in zone coverage. They let that physical, the most physical front in the entire league, that physical front rush the passer, stuff the run. They can set back and play zone. In order for them to get to the Super Bowl, they just have to play smart football, play percentage football. The longer this game goes on, the stronger they will get. They don't need to take chances. They don't need to be going for it on 4th down. Take your field goals, grind it out, ground it out, because as the game goes on, they will be strongest at the end.
The good news for both these teams is that they are relatively healthy, but I want to bring in Jay Glazer because, Jay, this time of year, no one's completely healthy.
Well, actually, Matt LaFleur, the Packers head coach, said this is the first time, how about this, in 5 weeks that our team is not dealing with the flu. It affected practice the last several weeks. They finally gotten over it. Hasn't affected the team whatsoever going into preparation this week. On the other side, hey, Howie, you talked about George Kittle. They got quite the scare with Kittle after last week's game. He injured his ankle, wasn't able to do much in practice Monday and Tuesday, went out there Wednesday, was hurting so much they actually sat him down, but attacked his rehab Thursday. Friday, he was finally up and running again. He just told me, will not be an issue. I'm paid free. I'm good to go.
All right, thanks a lot, Jay. Well, we do know that the winner of this game will take on the Kansas City Chiefs, who have won the AFC. Congratulations to Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, taking his 2nd team to the Super Bowl 2 weeks from today right here on Fox. Yes, absolutely. All right, a reminder for you at home, just download the Fox Sports Super 6 app. You can play it and get a chance to win $25,000 based off of the outcome of today's game. Tony Gonzalez, Rob Riggle, they're both taking the Niners to win by a touchdown. We know Kansas City will represent the AFC. I'll start with you, Jimmy. Who will represent the NFC in Super Bowl 54?
I think it's going to be very difficult for Aaron Rodgers to get any explosive plays against this defense, and for that reason, I'm going to take the 49ers by 10.
I think that the 49ers are so strong on defense. Rush the passer, drop everyone in the coverage. I really need to pick this right because I need the points for picking the spread. We got a lot of 10s. I know we got some other stuff. I'm saying the 49ers by 14.
I'm going to go 49ers, advance to the Super Bowl, 7.5 points.
You can't. Wait.
7.5.
Howie's the worst. Listen, I too believe that the 49ers are going to win. But the only way I can get in the chase here going on to the Super Bowl is for me to be able to pick the underdog. I am going to pick Green Bay, all right? And they are going to win this with a 43-yard field goal with 2 seconds on the clock, and they're going to win by 1 point. Listen, America, TB always gets this right.
Old Nostradamus over here always gets it right.
How you're right. I'm the lead dog.
Right. I think TB found a way to keep hope alive. If you've got that guy as your quarterback, there's all the reason in the world to believe. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers trying to do it on the road. Can they win the NFC Championship against the Niners? We'll find out next.